And we are live. We want the gold, sucker. We want the gold, sucker. Yo, what is up, everybody? What is up? It's your boy Goosen. Hasn't been Goosen. I'm here. We got a busy show this week. We're going to hop right into it. First off, before we introduce my boy, my partner in crime, I just want to say sorry for everybody listening to the live show and the audio podcast. I got to apologize because your boy Ben Goosen, I don't know if it's allergies or a cold or what, but you may hear some clearing of the throat this podcast. So I want to apologize in advance. I guess it's worse. I could be eating, smacking gum, doing all that stuff. So either which way, I just want to apologize in advance. I might be clearing the throat a bit. But let's not talk about me clearing my throat. Let's talk about this week we got with my boy Sage DeMarc. What is up? What is up, my brother?
What was up was Mr. Bojangles going off in that intro. Don't think I didn't hear that.
You heard him in the back?
I heard him in the back.
You know, I was going to tell you, I was actually thinking as he went off in the background during the intro, I was going to say at the end of the show that maybe we'd give away a little prize to whoever could find the Easter egg in the show.
Dang, my bad.
You would have had to listen to the intro, but nobody would have known about that damn cat. Which, oh, you know what I got to tell you? I got to admit, so I've said on the podcast before and referred to him as that damn cat. My cat has made an appearance on the YouTube stream on accident. You've heard him in the background in the past. Not a big fan. I'm a dog guy. I'm not an anti-cat, but I'm a dog guy. But I kind of had a newfound relationship with my cats this weekend. And let me know if y'all, as wrestling fans, hit us up at Real WrestleCast. I don't know if you're a dog or cat fan. I assume dogs. So I saw a cat this week, kind of crazy, driving to work. I saw a cat with rabies. And that's
from the mouth?
No, so that's the common thing because of that movie Cujo and all that stuff. You think you see him foaming at the mouth and all that?
Yeah.
But the real common thing isn't like the aggression and the foaming at the mouth. Look, there he is right now. You hear him? So it's them like walking around in circles and they're dizzy and it looks like their back legs don't work. And I saw this cat and I'm like, out on the street. And he was all mangy. He was a street cat. He was like an extra hood version of it. You remember the cat in the Paula Abdul video?
Yeah.
Scat cat? It was like an extra hood version of that. Gotcha. And it was put it this way.
Cap or anything like that? The fedora?
Yeah. They had the suspenders and everything. It was like if it was like Heathcliff. Remember Heathcliff? The Ghetto Garfield?
Ghetto Garfield.
Heathcliff wasn't, if y'all don't remember, in the 90s, there was a cartoon called Heathcliff, and it was a 100% ripoff of Garfield. Orange, fat cat, and all that. But yeah, this thing had rabies. It was crazy as hell. He was just wandering around during the day, didn't know where it was at, just kept like going in circles. It looked like its back legs didn't work. I'm like, man, that cat has rabies. And the thing I should have done is I saw a lady walking her dog, walking towards a cat with rabies. And I should have rolled down my window and been like, hey, lady, you need to stay the hell away keep your dog away from this cat. Because if it gets bit, dog's gonna get rabies. Then he'd be like Michael Jackson in Thriller. Like where he's all nice. And you realize, nah, this dude's a werewolf. But no, it ain't. It's a movie. He's nice. But no, he's a zombie. But no, he's waking me up to take me home. But is he a zombie?
That's how it rolls, man. It's like the it's like the zombie apocalypse, man. You already beat me to it.
Yeah, let's get into this week in wrestling. Before we get in, anything outside of the ring that you could think of?
Oh man, I obviously heard about the whole John Oliver.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's we were texting about it, and
So let it be known that we talked about this. So we've been ad nauseum about this whole topic for the better half of 2 years.
We have, and we have been talking about it for a little over 2 years on how wrestlers are treated, but it finally got some mainstream media attention. So just give me your blanket thoughts. Like, it's almost like summarizing what we've been saying for the past 2 years, but give me your blanket thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was genuine. You could tell he or his staff or both are definitely wrestling fans. But we want what I mean. You have to understand, like, we grow up with these wrestlers and we have a connection to them. And the thing that we hate the most is finding out that they've died at 50, 40, 50, 60 years old due to chronic pain or overdosing on drugs or just going crazy. And although a wellness center is great, healthcare is great as well. You know what I mean? A lot of that stuff that they go through, can't just be washed over with a glorified therapy session. Um, I just and I thought that that's what they brought to light in that whole thing is that we have to do better. Like, we got to treat them as employees. If you're telling them that they have to be somewhere at a certain time, that they have to make appearances at a certain time, that they have to walk, talk, and bark at a these are things that you tell your employees, man. And
Oh,
it's just,
they're employees for sure. They're
yeah,
just on a paycheck 1099 rather than a W-2.
and it's just a shame, man. But I thought it was spot on, and I like the fact that the WWE tried to rebut it, but didn't really refute it at
Right.
all. They just kind of just said that we care about our talent and just the corporate speech of it,
Right. I thought it was amazing. I watched the whole 20 minutes of it, but it was amazing because I don't know, I assume his crew is, but because him and his crew are wrestling fans, because they have an interest in the product. So that's what gave it further validity. Me personally, yeah, I think it sucks. I think they've come a long way with the drug testing, offering rehab. The only thing I would think they can change, and there's rumblings about AEW trying to bring people on as employees, because I could understand WWE's standpoint is for all the talent you have, you save a lot of money by not paying workers' comp and benefits and all that. I understand it completely. But it would be more expensive because the NFL's going through it if you start getting class action lawsuits. And if you get a lawyer who gets 50 to 100 old wrestlers who got injuries, the class action lawsuit piece will be way more expensive than skimping out on workers' comp and benefits and all that these past few years,
Yeah.
these past 20, 30 years. But Big Show made a comment on TMZ this week, and he said, look, we're taken care of better than we ever have. I'm 47, and I walk just fine. Plus, we know what we sign up for. And that's the same argument in football, too, is, hey, look, you know what you're signing up for. You might take a hit to the head one day and get concussion syndrome later on. So is it this? Okay, is it okay to say, you know what, though, if you want to be a wrestler and get the money and get the fame, but you know what you're signing up for, the same way as you join the NFL or you get deployed overseas in the army and something bad happens, or you're playing baseball and basketball and you tear your ACL twice and have problems walking in your 40s and 50s.
I think honestly, I think that's a ridiculous argument. Big Show should be ashamed of himself for saying that. I didn't hear him say that, but if you say it, then it's true. But if he said that, he should be ashamed of himself, man. That's kind of like saying, um, I don't even know how to qualify this, man. It's kind of like saying, oh, it's forget what you like to do for a living. If you know that you're going to get hurt, the company shouldn't be responsible for it. It's your fault because you knew that you were going to get hurt doing the thing that you love to do. Like, I think that's just backward logic. With
I can see where you're going.
With football, yeah, you know that you have that potential of getting hurt, but that doesn't negate the league's responsibility to make the game a bit safer without nerfing it overall. Like if concussions are a big deal, it's in the best interest of the NFL to make sure that, hey, there's better equipment to protect our people or better rules to protect our people so that the game can last a bit longer. Treating them as just expendable pieces of crap is terrible because what do you say to the fam? Like literally, you're gonna tell me that uh, I don't want to name names of wrestlers, but you're gonna tell me that Mr. Perfect signed up for this. You're gonna tell me that Macho Man Randy Savage stood up for this, like that they knew what they were getting into, that they were going to like that's a cop out response. It's like spitting on their grave, man. Like I don't agree with it at all. I get
Yeah,
the
I
job,
mean,
but
and the
it's
comparison to football is a little bit different because that's a 16-week season. You know what I
these
mean?
guys do it every
4 or 5 nights a week. Yeah.
yeah, the 4 or 5 nights a week for 240 plus days out of the year. There's more wear and tear on, in my opinion. I know we've had this argument before, but in my opinion, there's more wear and tear on a wrestler um, in the short
Th-
term than there is from a football player in the long term.
Well, I mean, think about it. Wrestlers start at 18 and retire at 40 if you're considered, long term and successful. So, a football player, sure, they've been playing since they were 14 and stuff like that, but the real aggressive stuff starts in high school and then you're retired by 30 tops. If you're lucky. I remember reading a report that the average football career is 4 to 5 years. So the NFL career where you're really getting hit and the real physicality happens 4 to 5 years. So you're done by what, 25, 23?
Mhm.
So yeah, WWE guys play for it. I mean, Ric Flair, he was wrestling into his 50s.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the documentary was good. I think if WWE can come up with a creative way to give people time off but not let it leak. I've been thinking about that before. I've never said it on the podcast, but if they can give people time off and even just say, you know what, Seth Rollins has been going hard in the paint. Let's give him a month off to where he only does. Because if word got out, hey, this is Seth Rollins month off, then you would know, okay, well, he's not fighting in any matches. He might cut a promo or something.
Mhm.
But maybe you say, you know what, Seth, you're only doing Monday Night Raws, and that's your month off. You know what I mean? And that
Right.
way it gives them a month off. Maybe you give them 2 months off a year where they only do televised shows. Or maybe a European tour too or something like that, but you give everybody 2 months off. And maybe of your 4 Raw appearances, maybe one is a tag match, one is a promo with promos all have run-ins these days, but there's not a lot of physical contact. One's a promo, one's a tag match. So you're kind of legit like off.
Yeah.
So you have a month to heal up and kind of get your mind right and all that. So would you be a fan of something like that? Like what could WWE do to keep these people as 1099, save a ton of money so they could provide us a better product and an app and all that? What could they do to keep wrestlers healthier and still keep
Um.
them as stubs?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I guess it would just be like the house shows because you have to remember, like what we see on TV is just like a fraction of their overall day, right? They're literally, and with the 1099, I consider traveling as part of their work. They're literally traveling like at 3 in the morning almost every day. Um, whether it's getting to the airport or whether it's driving to a town, 3 o'clock in the morning every day to get somewhere, only to put on a show at 7, 8, or 9 o'clock at night. Um, I think you have to cut some of those house shows. Maybe have, instead of having them perform 5 days a week, have them perform maybe 3 days a week. Um,
But house shows bring in cumulatively a ton of money.
they do, but not everybody's at the house
Correct.
shows at all.
Right,
So you
right.
can disperse them out equally. Um, I think there's multiple ways you can do it, but I think starting with the house shows would probably be the easiest thing for them to do. It'd be low impact because to get people into the seats, you have to show them on TV. That's just kind of the way to go. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. I think we're all agree that it needs to change. It should have been changed a long time ago. It's just one of those things where wrestling is just kind of behind the times in terms of this type of movement.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that we'll see how it goes. I definitely think the not showing up on the house shows is definitely the way to go. Plus, I've heard these wrestlers get to the arenas at like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
For a show that starts at 8, 7. And then they figure out, and rehearse what they're going to do. That's on the writers, man. Catch up with technology, writers. Maybe I don't know how the big production works. I don't work there, so of course I don't know. But hey, look, if I got to show up to work at 3, to start work at 7 o'clock, 10 if I'm in the main event, that's on the writers. I would tell the writers, hey, your ass needs to email me a PDF. This is 2019.
That's right.
You email me a PDF the day before a show saying, these are the matches. This is who you're fighting. I expect Goose, Sage, and Mark, you're fighting at the house show in a no DQ match tomorrow. And this is the match card. You're going to go on at 8 o'clock. If they told me, but you have to be at the arena at 3, I'd be like, what the hell am I going to do for 5 hours? I ain't on the clock. I got a contract. Tell you what, I'm going to handle my business. I'm an adult. I'm a professional. You're showing on this thing that my match is at 8, 8:15. I'm going to show up at 6 just in case someone gets injured or there's an emergency or something. I'm going to show up at 6, maybe 7. I'm going to go straight to Sage and Mark and say, or the bookers, the writers, I'm going to go to you guys and say, who's winning this match and how? Give me the beginning and the end. Hurry up. You should have sent in a fucking PDF yesterday. That is on you. You should have sent it in a PDF. This is 2019. You have unlimited access to me.
That's right. At least send me
you should send me a PDF that gives me dates, times of the entire card. Give me the ending and the story you want to tell. And then me and Sage and Mark, our match is at 8:30 on the card. We have to show up at 6:30, 7 o'clock tops. And we go to the writers and we have to meet with them and we say, yo, we got this. We both received your PDF. Matter of fact, I'm just going to email you back and say, got it, thanks. And then I'm going to talk to Sage. And if me and you go out there and put on a horrible, terrible match and we botch the ending, that's on us.
That's it.
That is on us. The cream will rise to the top. I will go out and it's up to me to hit you up and say, Sage, we got to put on a match tomorrow at 8:30. This is the beginning. This is the end. This is the story we got to tell. Let's figure out a couple moves. I'll see you, at 7 o'clock tomorrow. And then they'll have an unwritten rule that all wrestlers show up like 2 hours before their match time or something.
Yep.
And then if our match is at 8:30, I'm there at 6:30, like working out or doing whatever, and you don't show up till 8:15 and you're still not dressed, then I tell the bookers and the writers, like, hey, this dude sucks. He's not committed to this. He's not committed to this at all. Don't blame me for how this match goes. And that's on Sage. And that's the way it should be. The cream will rise to the top when you give those wrestlers more accountability.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta trust them, man. You can't have a stranglehold on them, like Goose has on this podcast. But you gotta make sure. You gotta make sure to take care of your wrestlers, man. That's first and foremost. And not take care of them in the sense of the contract and just throwing money at the problem, but like truly take care of them. This just can't keep going on, man.
Yeah, I agree. Not much to talk about because we got a lot to get into today. Not much to talk about Raw. Raw was, if anybody ever looked up the Wikipedia definition of go home show, Raw fit that bill today. Do you have anything to say about Raw?
I did like the women's spot on the shenanigans. I thought that was pretty awesome, man.
Women got some love this week, except for, and you had texted me about this because it was cut from Hulu. Sasha, man, botched 2 moves back to back. I get it. Stuff happens. All I'll say is I hope she's okay and healthy. Man, she's awesome to see in the ring. I hope it was just like oops, my bad. Like, and that's the end of it. That match did not make the Hulu cut, right?
It did not make the Hulu cut. I did watch that match live, but
Okay.
yeah, it was that was kind of I'm just worried. Well, I didn't see the match live, but I saw the highlights, I should say. And I heard I heard that Peyton Royce took the glam slam like a champ.
Yeah, the O'Conics, they aren't as good as the Boss Hug Connection, like in ring, but they do very well at everything they do. They exceed my expectations of what they do.
Yeah, they're great at selling and everything. Let me ask you a question, man. So you already know I'm a big mark for Beth Phoenix. I've always had. I followed all of her career. I've seen all of her matches. The one criticism that I've always had, and it's not so much of Beth Phoenix herself, but I've always felt that she was in the wrong era.
Yeah, 100%.
She was just not in. She was just not supposed to be in the Divas era. She just stood out as to be more athletic, and like her and Molly Holly, which just unfortunately just came into, not too soon, but just in the wrong era.
Yeah, I agree.
How well was it that she meshed? Oh God, I'm so excited. I'm trying not to mark out right now, man. But how great was it for her to be in this era here? And it looks like she just completely belongs. Like it's not just a nostalgic act. It's like she truly fits this mold.
Her and Mickie James were gems of the Diva era. And I'll just say she still got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked amazing. I love the women's ending segment. I like the arrest story because I mean it's a wrestling arrest, but it was just fun, and it was all right. These three girls, the story to be told was these three girls don't give a damn. Like they're out for blood. Then we had the announcement on Raw that this is an official champ match.
Don't get me started on that. We'll talk about that more when we get to predictions.
Okay. So let's move on. SmackDown. I thought SmackDown was clearly better than Raw this week. My highlight of SmackDown this week was that they let Randy Orton and AJ Styles go on the mic. I don't know if it's scripted, ad lib, whatever. But I love because Randy's taking, I don't know if it's real, fake, whatnot, taking jabs at the indie scene. But he went the indie route and then went since Cena left, you're just a corporate bitch. Especially on the heels of AJ signing a new contract. And then AJ selling or saying, oh, well, while I was in bingo halls, that's cool. You were failing drug tests.
I loved it. I loved that, man.
And Randy Orton sold that like he sold it great. AJ sold it great. Then
couldn't have been on script, bro. That had to be something that both of those said, yo, let's go this route and let's just do it.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna do nothing to us, man. We at top of our game. They ain't gonna do nothing to us. Let's just go off script and do that, man. That's how it felt to me.
That's true veteranship. When you know, hey, I'm gonna do this, but they will do nothing to me about it. That's true veteran status. And that's something you gotta earn. You don't just get. You gotta earn it. And it was a great promo. And the highlight of the promo, believe it or not, was when Randy Orton and AJ Styles dropped the mic and started taking off their vests. And Kevin Owens just stood up.
Let's do it.
He just stood up, no words, and walked directly out the ring to the back.
Yeah, he did. I was like, what is this dude doing? He just got up and just took off. I was like, yo, I felt like I was watching Looney Tunes, bro.
Because it's funny because we all know contract signings and interviews, one-on-one interviews before on a go-home show always end with table breaks and fights. Yeah. This one had a badass RKO.
Yeah,
I saw it coming from a mile away, but I'm glad they did it then because now I was thinking if you would have asked me before Tuesday, I would have said Randy Orton's going to hit an RKO off of the phenomenal forearm for the win. But now, since they already showed their hand, I don't think it's going to happen. But we'll get into that in our predictions.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kofi had a good promo. It was a solid. I think the fan reaction was better than the promo.
Baltimore was insane. Holy crap!
Yeah, I think the fan reaction sold the hype for the match, and Daniel Bryan's doing an amazing job of selling the hype for the match. And I think he knows Kofi is the same person he was a couple years back.
For sure. I love the parallels, the juxtaposition.
But Daniel Bryan doesn't care. So I read that. So I love the hype for this match. Like, it's just a perfect story of it. Supposed to be, maybe we could argue, Mustafa Ali. But Kofi is the most impactful, deserving person to fit this specific storyline void.
For sure, man. If you would have asked me 6 months ago that Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston was going to headline, like, I can't say it's headline, but it's going to be for the WWE Championship, I would have said, man, you freaking kidding me, man. It just ain't no way.
Yeah, or Mustafa Ali.
Yeah. So, like, looking back, and this is actually a point of I wanted to bring it up last week, and I didn't. So with this particular feud, as well as like the Ronda Rousey feud, that's been going on, like, many people in the IWC have been really critical about, they should have done it this way. They should have done it this way. I didn't like it this way because they did it this way, and they shouldn't have done it this way. So I would say, like, thinking on it now and the path on how we got here, did you enjoy the storyline that they told to get to this point?
For Kofi? Or, well,
for
both. The title shot.
Yeah, for both. We could take one at a time. That's fine.
Are you saying for Becky and Kofi?
For Becky and Kofi, yeah.
Yes, because for Kofi, it works, and it's somebody we could relate to. And I don't think we've seen for the longest time that Kofi can go in the ring by himself. It's been, I may even say, we haven't seen it since his Randy Orton feud when he was not Jamaican anymore.
Yeah.
And then, so I think, yes, the Becky thing, I think I'm still a little salty that she's not fighting Ronda Rousey one-on-one. But I could understand that, assuming maybe not, Rousey's leaving after Mania. Maybe she is, maybe she's not. The show must go on.
Yeah.
And Becky as a champ, or Charlotte as a champ goes farther than this needs to be. So hindsight being 2020, I hated it a couple months ago, but the fact that you're putting the Charlotte, would you say, is the best overall women's wrestler right now?
I don't understand how people can make that argument. Like, I don't. Like,
who's the best female wrestler in the main roster right now?
To me, it's got to be Asuka.
Okay.
Just like from a pure, and I say this from a pure skill and being able to make your opponent look good in the ring.
Like, but that doesn't mean we're not saying Charlotte's bad.
No, and I'm not saying I'm not saying that she's bad. And to me, win losses are kind of irrelevant, right? Because I mean, if we're gonna say like who's better, like Asuka's won more matches than Charlotte has in her entire career, like handful.
Right.
She's defended more than she's defended her championship, not the women's championship, but just like the NXT championship longer than. No, actually, I take that back. She's defended her. Well, no,
she was undefeated for over a year and a half. So
yeah,
would you say Charlotte's the best overall package? Like overall, best on the mic, best in the ring, like because Asuka's nothing on the mic, clearly.
But she doesn't need to be. That's the thing. Like, I think people get too, like, they get oversaturated with the idea that you have to have mic skills to get over. Like, you have to have it, but you don't. Like, but you really don't. Like,
you don't have to. Okay, so let me ask you this: it's not a have for sure. Chris Benoit, one of the greatest of all time. We're talking about Chris Benoit in the ring, not outside the ring. zero mic skills. Cesaro, great, no mic skills. But mic skills do play a factor in saying who's the best on the roster overall at any given time.
It's like saying how do I say? It's a part of getting over as a wrestler, or a part of being a wrestler, but it's not the main part. Like, or not, I shouldn't even say the main part. It shouldn't be the deciding factor of who's better than another person. Just because, like, you're saying that you're telling me that the Miz, who's arguably the best mic skill person in the world, is better than Steve Austin on the mic, when Steve Austin really only says maybe 5 or 6 words. And granted, those are 6 words that people just go. They're short and simple, but I take the Miz any day of the week. But does that mean that the Miz is better overall than Steve Austin? No. Steve Austin had more memorable matches than him. He's, you know, he's done a lot more crazier things than him that just sticks with us. So we would say that he would be the overall the best, even though Miz's mic skills are probably way, like, maybe 2 or 3 times better than Steve Austin's is. I know that's controversial, but I mean, it is what it is.
So, okay. And again, we're not crapping on Charlotte. So would you say Charlotte's clearly the second best overall?
I think she's a clear number 2, leaps and bounds. Like, there's not, the next person who's next to her is probably, like, I don't even know. Like, I can't even think that far ahead of who would be a third, but I say it would be Asuka and then Charlotte.
Okay. So I like the fact that the main event of WrestleMania is the most complete package of a speaker. She's just got the background story. Her dad is the best wrestler of all time type thing. She could talk on the mic. She's got 250 million title reigns, and she's been a consistent main eventer longer than Asuka.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, Charlotte in the match is more interesting than Asuka in the match, because Asuka versus Rousey would be one-on-one would be interesting. And Becky is the biggest name in women's wrestling, but Rousey is too. So I'm okay with them having the triple threat, knowing that there's more to come in the future. And then we'll get into who's going to win after, when we get to some stuff. Anything else on SmackDown?
No, man. I mean, SmackDown was pretty solid, man. I definitely enjoyed it. Definitely leaps and bounds over Raw. But with Stephanie coming out, one thing that I did notice between both the brands is that SmackDown people were showing up on Raw, and Raw people were showing up on SmackDown. And then with the announcement of the double titles, is pretty much a good consensus. Like, I think that we can all draw the conclusion that the brand split is almost over.
Officially over, or you think it'll be real informal?
I think it'll be real informal, probably by Survivor Series. I don't think that it's going to be something that's like right then and there, like by SummerSlam we're going to have it. I think it'll be definitely by Survivor Series. But it looks like that it's officially over, man.
I got to disagree, but only because there's the 2 separate TV deals.
I'm thinking that I think it like this, man. If they're going to unify the women's title, right? They already have a women's tag team title that's being unified, or that's already unified. That's going to go between brands and brands. The next probable one to go will be the tag team one. Because that would be logical. They're going to retire either the US or the Intercontinental belt, or do away with both and have one mid-card belt. Like, that's what I'm foreseeing for them to do. And then before they get to the world titles, I think that's when they're going to just completely say, hey, we've already laid the groundwork for all the titles. Let's just do away with the brand split.
So are you calling it right now? The brand split will be over by Survivor Series, and we will have singles titles, and that's it.
Yeah, I think that by Survivor Series, the brand split will be officially over.
Hot take from Sage to Mark. Brand split will be done by Survivor Series. The hot take by Ben Goosen is that 205, and I think it's still looking pretty good. We'll be gone by January 1st. December 31st. Let's get into some predictions for the weekend.
Let's go.
Let's do NXT, because NXT is is on really early. I think it's on at 6 6 in the Central Time Zone on
Is it Friday?
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tomorrow.
because the 57-hour Hall of Fame is going to be on Saturday.
This is the worst Hall of Fame ever, bruh. The worst.
I wish they had a Hulu cut of the Hall of Fame. Because I'm going to be honest, Sage, I don't like. I watch it. I'm a fanboy. I watch it.
Yeah.
But there hits a point where, with the exception of DX or NWO or something where it's a tag team or something where, there's 4 or 5 people get inducted and they all want to have their. I don't want to listen to you talk for 30 minutes and tell inside jokes. And I get it. You're telling stories and okay, I get it. You've worked your ass off. You've made it the Hall of Fame. You work 15, 20 years. You should get 30 minutes. But I don't want to hear, I just don't want to hear you talk for 30, 45 minutes. I don't.
I got a hot take for you, bruh. And it just remember that this is coming from a place of love, man. If you don't want to hear them talk, just don't watch it, man. Don't ruin it for the rest of us, though.
Then what does that bring to the table? Like, first off, anybody gets in the Hall of Fame these days. To be honest with you, there's a chance me and you are going to be in the Hall of Fame. And we have no ties to WWE, but there's a chance in 10, 15 years when they're like, let's see who was the best podcast that talked about WWE and kept it real, hence the name, Sage and Goose. I'm not going to go out there and talk for 30, 45 minutes and tell inside jokes about sneaking vodka into the library parking lot to drink while we do the podcast. People don't want to hear that shit.
I do. I want to hear that stuff, man.
Okay. The Oscars has a wrap it up for a reason.
Yeah. They getting better, bro. They long the days of Mr. T going on about his mama.
Nobody wants to hear that, right? That Mr. T's Hall of Fame speech is, bro, you wrestled what 1 match, 2 matches? And that's me counting you fighting Rocky Balboa in a ring. Like, come on, bro. Like, so I just
there's no for you if they shorten the amount of people that are inducted every year.
Absolutely.
I think the consensus is more so that it's not so much that the speeches are long. It's just there's so many people that it feels like it just drags on forever. Like it's watching WrestleMania, but watching someone on the stage not wrestle.
Correct. I thought about that in the car the other day. They should have started out originally with 4 people make it each year, tops. Yeah. That includes tag teams, women, producers, whatever. That's it. And now when you have 6, 7, 8 people making it every year, you almost have to struggle to find people at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if it's so much. Well, so here's my thing, man. Like I think as fans, it's not fair for us to say who should or shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
But with that being said, if this is going to be like a televised event where we're seeing it, I do kind of agree with you. Like 5 hours is a bit much. And although I'm not saying by any means that we should rush people off the stage, maybe we bring it down to maybe like 4 or 5 people, including the Warrior Award, which thank God this year it was given to someone in the back, like the Warrior asked. I think we've been all advocating for that for like the better half of 2 years. So, thankful for that. But yeah, man, I can concede that thought, man.
It goes back to what I said earlier. Send me a fucking PDF. If Ben Goosen is going into the Hall of Fame, writers, producers, you send me a PDF the day before. I might need to clip that That quote right there.
Yeah, man. Redo the intro, bro. Put that in there, man.
And
we don't hear enough from you.
Writers, producers, if I'm going in the Hall of Fame Saturday night, you email me a week in advance and say, Goose, the show starts at 6. The red carpet starts at 3:30. You're going on from 6 to 6:15. And then Sage the Mark or the Honky Tonk Man. His introductory stuff is his video package is 6:15 to 6:20, and whoever's inducting him has a speech from 6:20 to 6:25. You send me a PDF that tells me I need to get my ass off stage at 6:15. And that benefits the person going into the Hall of Fame, not from a time frame standpoint, but it tells them, you know what? You have this long to hit your points. You can talk about whatever you want, but you have 15 minutes. And then and then the main event guys like DX, they'll be the last ones of the night. They get, or say it was just Triple H, not a group, because a group does need longer time. Say it was just Triple H. Goldberg, Sting. You say Undertaker in the future. You say, you know what? You get 30 minutes to talk. And if anyone complains, if Ben Goosen comes up and is like, well, man, I'm in the Hall of Fame. Why does he get 30? Why do I get 15? I would say, go do a search for your name on the WWE Network and look at the search results. You idiot. Get out of my face. And then, or if anybody questioned, I'd be like, all right, cool. Well, you ain't going to the Hall of Fame. Give me that ring back. And then I'm going to charge you for shipping on sending me the ring back. That's how it needs to go down. WWE writers, producers, you need to do a better job of planning your shit out in advance. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to send PDFs out the day before. You're telling people what cities they got to go to probably a month in advance. You should be able to plan a show in advance. And I understand injuries and stuff come up to make something up, especially on house shows. Man, Goose is about to mark out. Goose is kind of pissed. Don't like that. Let's get into NXT predictions.
Yeah, shout out to Fortune 4 Shooters in the chat there. Some reason my main chat isn't coming up, but definitely want to give that love. Has some predictions out there. We'll probably
nice predictions.
Yeah, we'll probably go over those after we go over ours. So
yeah, those are good predictions. Let's get into NXT because we still have a lot of WrestleMania talk to get into.
Yeah, man. Let's do this.
All right.
No more distraction. My bad.
No more rants by Goose. That's what it is. North American Championship, Velveteen Dream versus Matt Riddle. All right, I'm going to say Velveteen Dream is going to lose this match. Mm-hmm. And I'll leave it at that because we're going to get into predictions on some other stuff in a bit.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. Goose, same. Let's go. Next.
War Raiders versus Aleister Black and Ricochet. I'm definitely going with the War Raiders because Aleister Black and Ricochet are already on the main roster.
Yeah, for sure, man. Is there any other tag team coming up, or it could be like a legitimate threat to the War Raiders? I'll to be honest with you, man, I haven't been watching NXT, and shame on me for that. But
no, I wouldn't. The Street Profits, I'll give them some credit. They've been getting some love. We got to give props to Aleister Black and Ricochet because they're doing double duty this weekend because they're also on the WrestleMania 35 main card. Here's a match that this Pete Dunne versus Walter. What the hell? Like the dude's. I haven't seen you fight Walter, but with a name like Walter, you're set up for failure. I'm sorry. If you're just set up for... You have I mean, it's real. Like, who goes by their first name?
I mean...
I'm going to give you two things. Ready?
Yeah.
Big E goes by his first name. I've already thought about all this, but that's a gimmick name, Big E, and they cut out Langston, but that's Big E. That's got the big isn't a real name, so it's got the gimmick to it. There used to be a guy named Antonio Cesaro. He just goes by his last name now. If he was called, if he changed his name and he was never called Cesaro, but it was Coming out of the ring, here's Tony. That has no flair to it at all. And Walter is just a boring name. I've never seen this guy fight. Hopefully he's decent in the ring. I've read and heard some actually pretty rad things. So I'm excited to see him fight. And Pete Dunne can go in the ring. I just hope the best for this Walter guy. But Pete Dunne's going to beat him. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so Walter's actually a household name, man. Yo, if you've never seen any of his matches, man, you are going to be in for a treat. And I will just say that, man. You thought Daniel Bryan's chest was bad? Man, Pete Dunne, he's gonna be taking it for the team, man. Because yo, this is it's gonna be the barn burner, bro. I got Walter winning, hands down.
UK champ. Women's match, Shayna Baszler. It's a quads match. Oh man, I've been playing too much Blackout, not quads. Fatal 4-way. How do you pronounce it? Low? Io Shirai?
Io Shirai, yeah.
Io Shirai, Bianca Belair, and Kairi Sane. Man, this one's
really hard.
Yeah, it actually is. It's going to be a good match. But it's really hard to call but so I'm going to go with the side of, and this is almost a preemptive spoiler into my WrestleMania predictions. I don't think, and nothing's confirmed, I've said this on previous shows, I don't think Ronda Rousey's going to be around after Mania for a while. Maybe take a summer off or so. So I don't think we'll get the 4 Horsewomen thing anytime soon. So I'm going to have Shayna Baszler retaining this one.
Ooh, Goose.
And because I love watching her matches, man. Like the intensity she brings. And when she hits that, I mean, for what it is, the coquina clutch. And she just has the intensity's there, man. I think she's going to hold it and not. So I'll say this now. Shayna Baszler will not be in any predictions on something else that we have coming up in a bit.
Okay. But let's just say hypothetical. She does get the call. What match do you want to see her in? Like
versus Ronda Rousey straight up. But I mean, they got to do the 4 Horsewomen thing. I've said on the show before that she should beat up Rousey to be the send-off to Rousey. But then that means the 4 Horsewomen thing is not going to happen.
It's got to be Survivor Series, man. If they're going to do it.
That would be perfect. So who do you have winning this one?
I struggle with this one, man, but I'm gonna have to go with you know what? I'm gonna go with I'm gonna piggyback off of both you and Fortune for Shooters, man. I do think Shayna's gonna retain this one. Yeah, but man, if she doesn't, man, oh man.
Yeah, my mind is gonna be running on what may happen, not only on SmackDown or Raw, but what might happen at Mania. Like, bro, my mind is gonna be.
I'm thinking about it, man. You know what, Goose? I'm gonna change my pick, bro. I'm gonna change my pick because I'm thinking about it now, Goose, and it's lining up, man. It's lining up. Oh, Goose, I can't wait till we get to the previews. All right, I got Bianca Belair actually sneaking out the win on this one.
Okay, easy pick. Gargano and Adam Cole.
Cole.
This one, all right, that was a quick pick. I'm gonna go with Cole too. I'm only going with it because Gargano and Ciampa, for the most part, they got called up. Ciampa got hurt, so the call up was kind of pushed to the wayside a little bit. And
Undisputed Era needs to be called up already, man.
What's that?
So Undisputed Era needs to be called up already.
I do. I do agree with you there. So you're thinking as of now, Adam Cole's going to win this one and finally be the champ.
Yeah, I do, man. I think that's kind of where they go with it for right now.
Even though Undisputed Era has no other titles at all.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, do you risk? Like, I guess this is a question. Like, they're both Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano don't need to be there anymore. Like it's clear as day. In fact, Undisputed Era doesn't need to be there anymore. But if you take both of them away, it's going to leave a pretty big gap from a main eventer standpoint. So what do? You can get away with Johnny finally attaining his goal to be NXT champ and run with it a while, and leaving that to Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era going up. That could happen, or you can keep Undisputed. Like it's a lose-lose situation no matter how you see it. They
But
both should be just called up.
we've always had good NXT champions.
True.
So the good thing about NXT is that Triple H runs it so well that when some are not around, the next group steps up very well.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about champions that have
That's
had
true.
Shinsuke Nakamura, Kevin Owens, like Drew McIntyre. Like if you look at every single NXT champ, they're fine. I'm not. No, Bobby Roode ain't doing much like on the main roster, but in ring wise and their work ethic and how well they do, they're fine.
Yeah.
So now that I think about it out loud, say Adam Cole gets called up and Gargano continues, I guess, the call up, they're fine. NXT will figure it out and be perfectly fine. They still have a lot of stars out there. Okay. Now let's get into WrestleMania. But before we get into WrestleMania, I promised our fans 2 weeks ago, now I'm going to do some recon. I'm going to make this quick. Make this real quick. Because the WrestleMania card has 57 matches on it. So I'm going to make this quick. I debated with myself. And I called this out. I did the solo show 2 weeks ago. And I said last week, I'm going to come with the worst WrestleMania cards going into WrestleMania of all time. And how I thought on paper, just on paper, I'm not talking about execution. This is the worst WrestleMania card on paper of all time. So I'm going to give you 3 WrestleManias, and I'm going to tell you which one is by far, on paper, going into it. Would you say that there's been a definitively bad, I wish I didn't watch that, I wasted my time WrestleMania?
You know what? To be honest with you, I don't think I'd be qualified to answer that question, and just the reason why. I started watching, there was a pretty large gap for me to stop watching wrestling, and I'm pretty sure that the worst WrestleMania was during the time that I had stopped watching it from 2003 to 2012. So everything that's been past 2012, I don't think that there's been a WrestleMania that I think that was like just completely trash. That's not from a mark perspective. Like they weren't terrible where I'm like, ugh, I can't.
Well, I will say of the 3 WrestleManias I chose that were the worst on paper, just going into it, execution's something completely different. It's funny you mention that because they're from 2007 and 2011 that make my list, the list of Goose. So let me get into this. I think on paper, this is upcoming. I'm going to enjoy it. And what's nice is that I'm going to go in with no expectations so that it's going to be over-delivered. On paper, this WrestleMania card sucks. Let's just be real. It almost seems like a Raw and Smackdown that happens to be on the network and be called WrestleMania. I think we could all agree on that. Like, there's really no storyline here on this card that has been built up for months and months and months and months. It's just a card that is there. Everything on this card literally came together within the past 6 weeks. Just like every single pay-per-view we have for the rest of the year. That's it. With the exception, I guess, of the main event with Charlotte or the women's main event. So let me give some honorable mentions, and then I'm going to tell you what is the worst WrestleMania card on paper. Sage said he wasn't watching WrestleMania at this time, so let's go back. Let's go back to 2007. This is WrestleMania 17. I did some recon. I looked at the card, and I had to go in this with the mindset of I can't judge it on how the card was after the fact. I got to go into it with how much I cared about it going into the WrestleMania event. WrestleMania 17. I wasn't a fan. I really wasn't. I'll call out the matches, and I'll be quick because I know we got a lot to cover still. Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan. Opening match.
Oh,
No, it wasn't
that
that match.
2-second match?
No,
Okay.
no, this one was the one that ended in no contest. And I went back and
okay.
watched a bunch of these on the network. I don't even want to say I watched. I wasted my time doing it. Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan ended in a no contest. It was a lumberjack match. But again, I'm not going to go over results. You can go look online, watch network for that. The Great Khali was in a match.
Say no more.
Yep. Edge versus Alberto Del Rio. Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio. Here's my favorite. Ready? Big Show, Kane, Kofi Kingston, and Santino versus the Core. Do you know who the Core is?
Was that the CM Punk faction?
No, that was the Straight Edge Society. It's Ezekiel Jackson, Heath Slater, Justin Gabriel, and Wade Barrett. Randy Orton and CM Punk. Undertaker versus Triple H. John Morrison, Johnny Nitro, and Snooki from what was that show called? Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore. Is that the one where she did the handstand, spring handstand? Okay, I did see that one. That was
John Morrison versus Snooki with Trish Stratus, or excuse me, John Morrison, Snooki, and Trish Stratus versus Dolph Ziggler and Lay Cool, Michelle McCool and Layla. Those girls weren't great wrestlers, by the way. And then the main event was The Miz versus John Cena. And if I remember right, I think The Rock interfered and was the ref or whatever. But that match, those matches going in was just a straight up, okay, this is just another regular pay-per-view. So WrestleMania 17 gets an honorable mention. Oh, I forget. Michael Cole fought Jerry Lawler on that card. So, yeah, that was a WrestleMania.
That's pretty terrible, man. That's pretty terrible.
That was pretty bad. Honorable mention number 2. WrestleMania, and this was in 2011? WrestleMania 23. Go on paper, going into it again. Just a waste of space. Carlito and Ric Flair, because they had obviously a reason to team up, right?
Woo!
Versus Chavo Guerrero and Hurricane Helms. Because those two had a reason to team up. And that was the year we had Mr. Kennedy, who was probably gone within a year after that, winning Money in the Bank. And then, your favorite, the Great Khali versus Kane in a barn burner match. In a match that was Chris Benoit versus MVP. The Undertaker beat Batista in a match, I think that, if I remember right, had a couple botches. And then the ECW Originals, Rob Van Dam, Sabu, the Sandman, who was the worst wrestler of all time, and Tommy Dreamer, defeated the New Breed, which was when ECW was on Sci-Fi. New wrestlers on ECW on Sci-Fi, and that was Elijah Burke, Kevin Thorne, Marcus Carvon, who had an awesome finisher, by the way, and Matt Stryker. And then this is the card that had Bobby Lashley versus Umaga with Donald Trump in Bobby Lashley's corner, where he shaved Vince McMahon's head.
Hall of Famer Donald Trump?
Hall of Famer and president of the most united states of America. Melina versus Ashley Massaro. Just think about that match right there. Melina.
I don't even know who Ashley Massaro is.
Exactly. This was kind of in Diva days. That match lasted 3 minutes and 40 seconds, by the way. So if you're on WrestleMania and you're in a match that lasts 3 minutes and 40 seconds, that doesn't have a surprise or a twist or a gimmick to it, not good. And then John Cena beat Shawn Michaels in the main event. On paper, those two were close to being the worst WrestleMania cards on paper ever. Obviously, they went on and executed okay. And these guys are killing me. And the winner of it all is this year's WrestleMania. Worst WrestleMania card on paper ever. But that's good because I'm going in with low expectations, meaning everything's going to exceed what my thoughts are. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
So let's get into our predictions, and then we'll cover some other stuff and wrap up the show. We have a lot to get into, so I'll be brief on these. I think it was today that it was revealed the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Revival, is fighting or going up against defending their title, probably on the pre-show, against Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. That I don't know where this comes from at all. I guess if just you ask for a title shot, you'll get one. I get it because Zack Ryder's, Long Island and they're in New York and stuff. Who do you got winning this one?
Yeah, for cheap pops, bruh. I got the Revival losing this one to Curtis Hawkins, and I think that this has got to be a B team situation, man. Just to kind of get things over through WrestleMania weekend, I should say, and then by that following week, the titles will be back on Revival.
That's the real question, right? Like, it's not so much who's going to win, but it's how fast the Revival gets the titles back.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going with the same thing as you. Cruiserweight Championship, Buddy Murphy versus Tony Nese, which I think they've said that that's officially on the kickoff, but that match I think is going to be very good.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. And I know Tony Nese is like, yo, I'm just glad to be on the card. It doesn't really matter to me, like, when, like, I get that, man, but damn, dude, like, this is this match is gonna be special, bro. It's just gonna be like downright special. I got Tony Nese winning this one though.
I'm going with Buddy Murphy just to continue his hot streak. Women's, we'll just do the battle royals. Let's knock those two out. Women's battle royal. Yep. That's a Asuka to a T, right?
I actually have Lacey Evans winning this one.
Oh, nice pick. Lacey Evans coming in hot.
Yeah. I think this is gonna be her debut, her in-ring debut, and I think she's gonna end up winning it, man. I think that's finally time to put her to the test.
I think, thinking out loud, I definitely think that this would be a good debut for her and a debut win without crapping on anybody else. So I'm going to stick with Asuka on this one. And the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, I'm sure there'll be a couple of surprise, veterans and stuff in there. But I think Braun, maybe one of the SNL guys, but I'd say Braun's going to take this one.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know who's going to be this one's kind of perplexing to me. I don't think Braun's going to win. I think that the SNL guys are going to end up getting Braun out. I know how ridiculous that sounds, but I truly believe that that's what's going to happen. You know what? I'll go with EC3, bro. I think.
Oh, fair pick.
With all the crapping that he's done, I think that it might be time for him to get a W on his belt.
Fair pick. The SmackDown Tag Team Championship, the Usos, Ricochet and Aleister Black, The Bar versus Shinsuke and Rusev, who is a complete thrown together tag team.
Yeah.
I've got the Usos winning this one.
Yeah, same here, man. I don't, with their new contract in hand, I don't think they're gonna go anywhere.
Is this the Usos' first WrestleMania match?
Officially, yes.
It is, right?
It is.
Then, to me, clearly they've got to win. No, they fought last year. Remember the Bludgeon Brothers were beat like they had like the Bludgeon Brothers fought. The Bludgeon Brothers were the tag champs last year. That's right. Either which way, this is the first match that matters because that was just a Bludgeon Brothers hype push back then.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Usos too because you can't have a tag match where titles change hands, or you can't have a title match. Titles can't change hands on every match on a card. Speaking of championships, go into the Intercontinental Championship. Bobby Lashley versus the Demon, Finn Balor. It's nice that we're getting the Demon at Mania. Hopefully he has a long entrance, like a really good entrance.
Yeah, it'll definitely be the entrance of the night. I I hate the fact that they're bringing the demon out with no build at all. Just seems like a waste to me, man. But yeah, it's whatever, man. I got the demon winning.
Yeah, so do I. It does kind of seem like a waste. Um, let's see. Next match, we'll go Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio. I think this
Is
has
this match
potential to
actually
be.
happening? Because I heard that I don't know. I heard that this match might not even happen.
Yeah, that Mysterio's got a bum ankle from
Yeah,
Raw, but I couldn't tell if that was a work or not.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
this one's tough to call just because it really could go either way.
Yeah. This is gonna sound crazy, man, but I have this funny feeling that the goal is to get the belt onto Cien Almas.
Okay.
Um, so if they're gonna do that, I think that they're gonna take the belt off of Joe, which I think is a mistake, but I think that's the plan.
Yeah, I could see that. Um, and yeah, then I'll go with Rey Mysterio as well. Non-title action: Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin. I said specifically last week I'd give my thoughts on this, but I'd love to hear from you first.
Yeah, so I think that this is like a smokescreen match. I don't think that this is really his opponent. And if it is, I think that he's gonna dispatch of him pretty quickly. And then I'm hoping it's Jason Jordan that comes out to actually challenge him just to kind of put their storyline to rest since he's retiring. But I can also see a John Cena fitting in that spot as well, just because John Cena came in and his first opponent was Kurt Angle, and it'd be fitting for John Cena to put him down.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to put quick. He's going to make quick work of Baron Corbin under 5 minutes, and then Cena's going to come out for the real match. Though I wouldn't be surprised, and I'd mark out bad. Cena defeats. What if Angle fights 3 people? Or say he defeats. We'll just go 2. He defeats Corbin quick.
Mhm.
Light match, squash match. 3 5 minutes. Lights go off. Dong. Taker comes out. Then we get Angle Taker. It's not going to be a great match at all, like actual in-ring content, but the nostalgia will be pretty cool. Just to see them two go at it. 'Cause who's going to win? Because you would think, well, Taker's good at Mania, but Kurt, this is his last match ever. Or do you not care?
I I just don't think there was enough history between those two to really make that Kurt's last match. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I would heavily bet on
there's
Cena.
yeah, I mean, if I had to put I had to put stacks on it, man, I have to say it's Cena's like the favorite. I definitely would love to see Jason Jordan. But if that's not happening, then Cena definitely has to be my next favorite.
Oh yeah, I agree. AJ Styles and Randy Orton. Um, this one's kind of tough to call because there's really nothing on the line. Like none of them lose any momentum if they win or lose. But I'm gonna go with AJ Styles just because he's AJ Styles.
Yeah, so I mean, this is more of a nostalgia thing, and I think that this is a prelude to AJ getting the nod to headline SmackDown. I mean, not SmackDown, but Raw. I think this is like his send off match, and then during the shakeup, they're going to send him to Raw. Um, and that's providing if they, I still think they're going to split the. There's, I still think they're going to do away with the brand split overall, but I think it's just not going to be as defined. Um, I do think that there will be an RKO out of the Phenomenal Forum, but I don't think that that will end the match. So got AJ Styles winning this one.
Yeah, totally. Same here. Shane McMahon versus The Miz. Um, I'm gonna say The Miz, but more importantly, does Shane McMahon take one of his regular big bumps in this match?
Uh, I hope not. I don't think that this storyline requires it. Like his storylines for the big bumps are more for people that we don't think that he can convincingly beat. The Miz is definitely not one of those people. Um, so I don't think that it's necessary for the storyline for him to do it, and I don't think by any means that this is going to be the end of this feud here. So I've actually have I actually have Shane winning this one. Um, I think he's due a win at WrestleMania, and this will be his win. But I think that it's going to be one of those situations where he technically wins, but the Miz is just going to beat the hell out of him.
I gotcha. Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. Reigns, don't ever bet against him at WrestleMania. I've got Roman Reigns easily.
I don't even care about this match, to be honest with you, man. It's this match belongs on the pre-show.
Yeah.
I've got you know what? I'll take Drew McIntyre. I know he's probably not gonna win, but yeah,
You'll
I'll
just take him.
him.
Triple H and Batista. Who's winning? Who's coming out on top?
Will this match go over 3 minutes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it's no holds barred, so they don't. You know, it could go in and out the ring and stuff.
Wrestling on it, yeah. I guess that's probably the only way that you could have really done this match is a no holds bar, so that way it's not a ton of flips and stuff like that. So, I've got Batista winning this one.
Same here. I'm gonna go with Batista. Solid pick. Yeah, title fights. We'll go Brock versus Seth. I've got Brock keeping it. Like I just don't believe that Seth's the man to beat him when AJ Roman struggled, and I just don't buy that Seth's got a chance. You'll see some cool moves and stuff, but I just don't see him winning.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say this, man, because this is kind of gonna feed into our last picks here, man. I don't think logically all three can win the titles. Kofi, Seth, and Becky. I don't like knowing WWE. They kind of plan for the future. I mean that's just kind of the way they are. And then with the next pay per view being Backlash, I could see somehow. I hate to say this, man, but I could see somehow either Roman Reigns gets involved in the match and costs Seth Rollins, um, or maybe Dean Ambrose comes out and tries to help and costs him, and something like that happening. But I got Brock, man. I think Brock's gonna run away with this one.
Yeah, same here. Kofi and Daniel.
Just want to say for the record,
Kofi and Daniel Bryan. Is this going to be Kofi's moment to shine?
I think that Kofi's going to be the one that wins out of the three. Yeah, my money's on Kofi for as long as it takes. I think he's going to win this one. It'll be the feel good. And you know what? Here's a hot take. This is going to be the heater match, the very first match on the main roster or the main card.
Ooh, good way to put it. So if Kofi doesn't win and it is the opening match, does that make people check out for the rest of the show?
I don't think so, man. I think so. This is the thing, man. Like, well, you know, maybe the Miz match is going to be the heater because they've been actually putting him in more heater matches now that I think of it. You know, I won't say that it'll be the opening match now that I'm thinking through this again. But I do think that this is going to be the first title match of the night.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Dan.
Or maybe it might be the second. Let's go with the second title match of the night. The main title match of the night.
So I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan picking up the W on this one.
Okay.
And we just have Kofi goes back to being a part of the New Day. Not bad, but then you realize, man, the New Day is like a complete package. They've got everything. The main event. Rousey, and this is probably the match everyone's looking forward to. Rousey, Charlotte, Becky. I've got Becky coming out as the champ and showing up on both shows and being as tough as she is, defending both titles on both shows. She may even do it on Monday and Tuesday night.
Oh, Goose. Man, we don't disagree on a lot. Let's just say we disagree on a lot. But you know what, my brother? I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one too.
Okay. Who's coming out in this one?
I think this is gonna be the pissed off match of the night. I think this is the one where people are going to be talking about this for ages. It's gonna piss off the fans. They're gonna get that heated reaction. I think Ronda Rousey is gonna retain the title, and I think that she's gonna
be champ.
I think she's gonna be champ. At first, my first pick was actually gonna be Charlotte. But I think that if Shayna loses the belt, I think Shayna is going to show up on Sunday, and I think that she's going to even the playing field for Ronda, because essentially in Ronda's eyes it's 2-on-1, and I think Shayna's just going to get involved in this match, and this will be the sowing of the seeds for the horsewomen. But at the same time, I think that Ronda's going to win, man. She's going to get booed out of the building, but that's okay. She's collecting that check. And you know what? As much as I want to see Becky win, I'm okay with this, bro. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, sometimes the chase is more entertaining than the get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, let's talk about Monday Night Raw, the biggest Raw of the year by far. Truth be told, I'm looking more forward into, and I think it's at the Barclays Center, which is, that Northeast crowd is crazy. They were the ones, that Northeast crowd were the ones who started the Fandango chant and really put the crazy Raw after Mania on the map. So we are in store for a very, very insane Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, for sure.
So then who, you just want to keep it simple, keep it to 3? It could be a group, a single, tag team, whatever. 3 call-ups.
Yeah. Velveteen Dream is going to get called out, and it's got to be on Raw.
I agree.
It can't be on SmackDown. It has to be on Raw. Whether his true trajectory is going to be SmackDown, he has to debut on Raw. Just point and simple.
Agree.
I think the Undisputed Era, I think the Undisputed Era might also get called up.
They're going to come out. Dean Ambrose is done with wrestling. They will come out and beat up the Shield next week. And that's the Dean Ambrose. If Dean Ambrose is even on Raw next week, he might be done.
So he joins Undisputed Era? Is that what you're thinking, Goose?
No.
Okay.
No, Undisputed Era comes out, beats up Shield.
Okay.
And that writes off Ambrose, because if his contract is truly ending, or if it's not, then he has the big comeback in a couple months. Undisputed Era and Dream for sure will be on Raw or SmackDown next week.
Yeah.
In my mind. Sure. And then I'm going to go with, that third one's tough. Because I want to say Shayna. Like, Shayna Baszler is the easy pick, but who would be the next? Who would be next?
I mean, I don't know, man. I think Shayna's got to be the third one, man.
But
she's got to be.
If you would have asked us a couple months ago, you would have never figured Lars Sullivan and Lacey Evans. True, but you would have not put, me and you would have not put Lars Sullivan in any type of list on future call-ups.
No.
And he got called up, regardless of if he's debuted or whatever, but He got called up. So is EC3. He was in NXT for like 3 months.
Yeah.
So who's the third? The third is tough, man.
Yeah. There's not really much star power after that.
I'm going to go
Or much of
Kairi Sane. Kairi
It's
Sane.
You don't think it's too soon?
No, she won a Mae Young Battle Royal, former champ. No, not too soon at all. I'm not saying it's going to be super impactful, but I mean, she's good and her elbow drop's amazing. But yeah, I'm going to go with Kairi Sane.
We'll see, man. I think that right now they're gonna. I can't see them bringing up another Japanese star right now, man. I can't. Yeah, I can't. Do you think Asuka's gonna get involved in this match?
No.
In this triple threat match?
No, it'll just be back to business as Asuka will argue her point about wanting a rematch and all that stuff on Tuesday. It continues the Asuka story on who she's going to get a rematch with.
Yeah. Feel so
like you said,
bad for her, man. She's just
she jobbed out. That kind of sucked.
Her smiling and stuff, and God, I just feel so bad, man.
Yeah, it kind of sucked. Anything else we got to get into? We had a busy show this week.
So you didn't even ask about the hug and tug connection.
You have to really ask if I care to talk about the hug and tug connection.
No love for the ladies, bro. That disrespect is real.
Did I not go into that? Oh well, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. The women's tag match. Hug and tug. I guess hug and tug's going to keep
it. I'm gonna go with Divas of Doom.
All right, we'll keep it at Divas of Doom. What else? Anything else before we wrap up the show this week?
Nah, man. That's it, man. Just everyone who's listening, whether you're in podcast land or watching us live, remember we have a contest going on. So make sure that y'all check that out. You can win some WWE gear or some AEW gear. So all you got to do is just go to our YouTube channel. We have you either comment on video 116 or episode 116, or we've got a giveaway video up as well. And all you got to do is just subscribe to the channel, make sure that you like the channel, and then let us know who you think the first TV deal that AEW will sync, the cable TV deal or subscription service that they'll be on. And that's it. You're entering into the contest. Next week from today, we'll announce who the winner is for the contest itself, but the contest does end at the conclusion of WrestleMania. So make sure that you get your entries in before then. The video will disappear, so you won't be able to go in there and make any comments. So please be sure that you guys go and do that.
Yes, please do. We appreciate you again at Real WrestleCast. We must be getting legit because have you noticed we've been getting spam calls on the IRWP line?
I mean, I know you do because they all forwarded to your, to your area, man. I let you handle that stuff.
Yeah, I get these calls. And I'm like, oh, we got to call her. We got to call her. Not much else to get into today. Oh, by the way, Sage the Mark and I have been through a lot in this podcast. We were talking about before we went on. We were broadcasting from a library at one point with homeless people walking in the background. Sage the Mark, in that meantime, entered the Sage the Mark Arena, the Sage the Mark Dome, brand new house he bought. Excuse me. First sneeze on a podcast. Second sneeze on a podcast. Goosen's got a brand new Goosen Arena, and he was doing it in a closet for a little bit because that was the only room he had in this bunk ass apartment he's in. And lo and behold, I read before we came online that there's a almost had to sneeze. There was a burn body found in between these two arenas and domes. You hear about that?
I did not.
So in Texas, a lot of FM roads. How far do you know where Highway 211 is?
Yes.
Excuse me. How far is your house from 211?
I wouldn't. I would say probably about 50 miles, 50, 60 miles.
Good call. Well, I am not very far from Highway 211. And a burn body on the side of the road in between.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Sage Dome. So hopefully they arrest that piece of shit who did it. Crazy stuff, right? Like in between my arena and your arena, there was some bad stuff going down. So hit us up.
Trying to get us pegged by the FBI, bro. What's up with that, man? The internet's forever.
Not us. Hit us up next week because we're gonna have some awesome stuff. We'll talk about Raw predictions, our WrestleMania results, what happened on the biggest Raw of the year, SmackDown, how it happened, and next week I will be giving out Sage Mark's home address live and on the air and his personal phone number.
Doxing, man. You better not try to dox me, bro.
Truth be told, I don't even think I know your personal address.
That's the way I like it, son.
I might know directions or like general area, but I don't even know if I know your actual, I don't think anybody knows anybody's actual address. You just text somebody, hey, give me address, I'm on my way.
That's right.
Like when you're heading to their house or whatever. So, but I digress. Let's go ahead and wrap up the show. I'm your boy, Ben Goosen. That's Sage Mark at Real WrestleCast, 419-777 IRWP. Sage just gave you some legit information on a contest we got going on. Have a great weekend. We got Friday NXT. The Hall of Fame starts at 11 a.m. on Saturday and runs until 10 p.m. because of all the people they have that are going to be talking. It's a 15-hour Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Like I said, give me a fucking PDF. Send me emails, WWE, get up with technology, get with the times. Sunday, WrestleMania. WrestleMania starts at 6 Central? Is that right?
Yeah, 6 Central.
Okay, and I think the normal runtime is about 5 hours, 6 to 11. Yeah. Minimum 10. So I'm your boy, Ben Goosen. That's Sage and Mark. Any closing remarks, Sage?
Put Sherry in the Hall of Fame, damn it.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a real good one. We're coming up close to a point where there's not many people left to put in the Hall of Fame outside of Undertaker and Triple H, really. But we digress. Again, 419-777-IRWP at Real WrestleCast. Hit us up. Enjoy your WrestleMania weekend. If you're out in that area, go enjoy all those indie shows and all that stuff. Man, hell of a weekend to be a wrestling fan in the New York area. Again, Ben Goosen, Sage Mark. Keep it real. Yo, the thoughts and opinions expressed are that of the IRWP and not of the host. Hit us up at Real WrestleCast. We respond to everything. Hit us up in the DMs. Type in It's Real Wrestling Podcast literally anywhere. We are the first thing that comes up. Instagram, It's Real Wrestling Podcast. You type it in, you'll find us. Spotify, you type it in, you'll find us. Subscribe to the podcast. Hit us up at any time. 419-777-IRWP. Have a great WrestleMania weekend. Keep it real.